All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. The second most important thing in Denver is that the Denver Nuggets have made a big move. I've just heard that they have announced that we're trading Jokic to the Lakers for Bronny. Can you believe it?
No,
Just
no,
kidding.
no.
The first most important thing though is it just came fresh off the wire moments ago that the Nuggets have parted ways with Coach Malone and the GM. What's his name? Boone.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty crazy, man. I mean, I feel conflicted about this. On one side, I mean, we've been talking about Coach Malone and like what's going on for weeks. It's like they dropped four in a row, not a lot of energy off the bench, not a lot of cohesion on a team this talented. You got the number one player in the world, potentially a top 10 candidate for GOAT already. And then like we're losing games
Mm-hmm.
coming into playoffs. So there had to be something going on back behind the scenes that we weren't aware of. The other side is Coach Malone, most winningest coach in Nuggets history, last 10 years, built this team, the old school way by drafting low and bringing the players up. So I don't know what happened. I'm sure like more details are going to emerge, whether they have their eye on some perfect coach situation that they want to make sure that they're getting room for that, or if there was some kind of blow up in the locker room. I don't know, but as sad as sad to see Coach Malone leaving, something had to be done.
Yeah, I totally agree. More details are going to come out. I don't think this is just surface level that team's been underperforming as of late or this season. There's got to be something more because you don't just pull the plug like that days, literally days before the playoffs start with a serious title contending team, if we're being honest. I mean, you have the best player in the world. This team is capable of beating anyone on any night. So something had to have been going on. I'm sure we'll find out more. But
Yeah, and the GM is Booth, and from when I just did I mean, like I haven't really even paid attention to him at all, and it seems like the general consensus was kind of fairly unliked. So I don't know if there was some kind of, so whatever was going on between the two of them, but boy, yeah, it's a wild timing. 3 games before playoffs, so it's like, well, RIP season, you know.
yeah, Kroenke just had a generic statement. This decision gives us the best chance at competing for a championship. Okay, so
Was that Josh? It definitely was it, or was it Stan?
Josh,
Yeah, Stan's silent. Stan isn't saying anything.
yeah,
So
we'll see.
yeah, you can get away with a blanket statement like that the first couple of hours, but like, hey man,
Yeah,
team deserves answers.
yeah. I hopefully it doesn't mess with the chemistry. I don't know. Sometimes you see these things go both ways. You see it help teams with their chemistry, and sometimes teams just look in a disarray. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. Sometimes they get a little boost, especially in the NFL. When you can an NFL coach, it's like the players all rejoice and they start playing really well. As the
hmm
Raiders last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also too, what I think about is like if your players and your team obviously is one of the best in the world, having won the championship not even like 2 seasons ago, are they the ones kind of making the decision, just being like, we don't want this coach anymore. Let's hold back a little bit until he's gone, and then we'll just play like we can again. Because it's not like this coach is really affecting Jokic's ability to yam on some fools. Like, it doesn't make too much sense to me, especially at that level. If you're talking about like
Yeah.
a high school basketball coach where you have new players who need extreme direction and like full guided, leadership from a coach, like
Yeah.
at this level, do they really need that as much?
Well, I mean, Jokic scores 60, has a triple double, and they still lose. I mean, that's kind of it. And to your point, there's what 15 guys on an NBA roster. Like Jokic has to have major influence on this because the NBA, it's like it's player. It's not like the NFL where like the coach really reigns. The coach
Mm-hmm.
runs the team. Even there's word of like who ran the Patriots. Was it Bill or was it Tom? You
Mm-hmm.
know, it, almost equal, but that's also like freaking Tom Brady. Everybody else is like deferring to the head coach.
Yeah.
So NBA is different. You know, NBA is like about the player, especially when you got like a generational franchise player like Jokic. Like they're like, dude, what do you think? So he
Hmm.
had to have signed off on that. That's just speculation, but
He
Yeah.
had to. I
yeah.
saw I saw a meme today right after it happened, and it was like the new head coach and GM, and it was a picture of Jokic's dad and brother. It's pretty funny.
That's great.
Pretty true, honestly.
Oh man. All right. Let's kind of skip around a bit because we got a little bit short timetable.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things I wanted to hit up because we kind of put out APB on promoting events last week. We had a couple of people respond with some events. I want to make sure that we're promoting these for them. Now, let me bring this up right here. Let me bring this up. There's a couple of actually really interesting events that I would never have found. So I'm really stoked about this. Let me see. Okay, here's one from Pina Chung. Okay, this is May 23rd through 24th and 26th. This is the Republic of Marshall Islands 46th Constitution Day in Denver, Colorado.
Hmm.
So, for all the folks from the Marshall Islands, this is your party. You know, now I'm probably a little geographically challenged. I don't even know that Marshall Islands existed as a country, but that's just my ignorance. But apparently, a very proud country and a great population in Denver. So this would be a cool thing for me to go check out because I don't know anything about Marshall Islands, you know, but they have softball, they got volleyball, they got basketball tournaments, double elimination. So you can go down there and get some reps for sure. I'm looking here. You can register. I'm sure this is for the sporting events if you got your squad. And what I'll do is I'll find the link to the event. I'm not seeing it here on this flyer, but we'll make sure to link their event and talk about it in the weeks preceding it. Constitution Day.
All right. Cool.
It's amazing.
Nice.
And then we had another couple from TikTok, which I wanted to shout out. We've got event in Durango. The Durango Ragtime and Early Jazz Festival is this weekend in Durango, which sounds awesome, man. Like
Nice.
if they're talking about early jazz, you know, maybe pre-ragtime, you had that like great gypsy jazz sound, you know, which I absolutely love. I mean, this is probably the pinnacle of guitar playing, in my opinion, you know. But when you had these like little string bands that would just absolutely rip, so they're doing that in Durango this weekend. Shout out to user 2169723. Um, the other one I want to shout out is from Spulius Caesar, and it sounds like his girlfriend started a company, Backcountry Beauties, that does outdoor events for women. There's an app and they have a Facebook group, so definitely check that out if you're interested in that. We'll see if we can't link that up and promote that the next couple of weeks. So definitely shout out to those folks in their events, and if anybody else has an event, like I said, we want to promote it and help you do your thing.
Nice.
Let's hop straight to events, Tom, and go with your featured events.
Okay, okay. I got a couple quick ones that we could do. I want to highlight this Sun City um, launch party happening Sunday this weekend, April 13th. This is at a new location called Desert Social. So this is a new kind of dance music spot to check out. I haven't been
Cool.
there yet, but this Sun City group is a bunch of local female Denver DJs and producers. We got Marrow, Hermans, Brits, and Briella. All solid people, and I'm definitely gonna check this out. They're doing a, all girls promo event. They're bringing some girl DJ power. All of these are heavy hitters, so I want to check this one out this weekend. It's like $7 to get in there, but this new
Cool.
location, Desert Social, seems really cool. And
Yeah,
Nice.
then
it's down at in South Broadway. It looks like right across from GB's Fish and Chips.
nice. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like a cool spot, and they've been putting on some nice events since they opened up. Then
Nice.
I got this mixtape Saturdays live music at Punch Bowl Social. So they they do this I think every Saturday now that it's springtime. But live music with awesome covers from the 90s and 2000s and a great lineup of bands. So it's going to be all different bands each Saturday, and they're all cover bands, and they do cool covers of great nostalgic hits.
Nice.
Check that out. What else do we got? I think we got one more thing. Yes, Side Hustle Saturday is back at the Process. So this is the Process, I believe, a co-working space, but they do this event on Saturdays. It's starting this Saturday, April 12th, 2 to 4 p.m. And it's all advisors and business professionals and like-minded entrepreneurs and hustlers working on their side hustles. And you can get some advice from people. You can maybe practice your pitch. You could do all different types of things. Bring your laptop. They got drinks and snacks provided. And yeah, that's what they do there. And they're also promoting their co-working space memberships during that as well. So shout out to the Process and anyone with side hustles. And then really quick, we got Red Rocks back in action. Thursday this week, we got Remy Wolf with some great support on that. Friday, I think I'm going to be hitting this one up, but we have Elderbrook with Hugo and Vandalux. And then Saturday, a little bit of bass. We have Wooly with back-to-backs with Level Up, Prob Cause, DJ Set, all different types of support for that. And then Sunday, Tequila Blues Fest. We have Los Lonely Boys, Eric Gales, Rick Lewis Project, Harper O'Neill, Levi Platero, Jack Hadley for the Tequila Blues Fest.
Nice.
And then real quick, shout out next Tuesday, since we won't get the show out in time for this, but Boris Brechka. I always say that wrong, but a little bit of housey techno vibe going on with that, I'm pretty certain.
And Still haven't been. I need to get out there.
Yeah,
Still
you
been to a
gotta
Red Rock
check out
show.
the schedule, Troy, and then pick one to come out to.
I know. I have to.
I was just there this past weekend for the Disco Lines.
Nice.
Solid show. Good to get back out there. That's what I got for events this week.
Heck yeah, man. I'll do a couple of news and see if we can get to events. And I want to definitely talk about the Denver Ramen Festival because that was awesome.
Yeah.
Two news things that kind of jumped out at me this week. So, last week, I think we were talking about the revitalization plan of the 16th Street Mall, which has been kind of in effect for several years, figuring out a way to get, traffic back down to 16th Street Mall, pedestrian traffic. And we talked about the gondola idea, which I'm not cool with that at all. I think it's a terrible idea to bring gondolas down there. I don't know if that's progressing. It kind of seems like the team, I don't want to be too critical of the mayor's department who's working on this, is getting a little too creative. Like, bro, gondolas, man. No, let's start with, make sure that crime is punished and people feel safe. Let's start there. And that is exactly what Mayor Mike Johnston is rolling out, which is really cool. So he basically highlighted the ways that they're going to start bolstering security downtown, particularly on the 16th Street Mall, which is with horse police, bike police, and cops on foot, which I think is perfect.
Really?
There's something a little bit scary and sharky about the cruisers, and I think probably something a little impersonal. But man, you see a cop on a horse, you want to go pet that horse. You feel good. It's like, oh, the cowboys are here. We're all safe. Everything's fine. You got the mountain bike cop, in case you got to do maybe a little down a stairway or something, or you're going on the sidewalk. But I'm joking around, but I think that this is a step in the right direction first, which is like, let's make sure that everybody feels comfortable and safe to bring their kids down to 16th Street Mall, and then everything will follow after that.
Wow. So they just announced some added security and police presence?
Yeah.
Maybe they listen to the show. You know,
Maybe they
because
did.
we were just suggesting that as a good place to
Absolutely.
start.
And that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Must be listening in.
I will say though, I did see, and I'm trying to find it now, but I did see the gondola, the proposed gondola map,
Yeah.
and it's not as bad as I thought. I thought they were just going to do a 16th Street back and forth gondola just like the train or the bus, sorry. But it's actually pretty sick. It's like
It goes
from
further north and further south.
it goes all the way to Coors Field for the Rockies. It goes all the way to Broncos Stadium. It goes to the Ball Arena for the Nuggets. It goes all down 16th Street, all the way down South Broadway and stuff. So it's actually, I think it might even go to Cherry Creek on the other side, which is like, that would actually be pretty cool.
I wonder what the commute time would be in the gondola.
I know,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's got to be ripping. Because those are far distances that we're mentioning, especially for a
Yeah.
gondola. But, you
That's
know,
what I was thinking.
I think your commute time, if you're going straight on a gondola, just thinking about like how far you actually go on a gondola at a ski resort, I bet it would be like less than 10 minutes from Rockies, Coors Field to, Broncos Stadium, Mile High Stadium,
Yeah.
which is dope.
It's super dope. Maybe it's my pessimism showing because if you could pull off gondola in the middle of the city, it'd be awesome. I just wonder with, can we pull that off? I'll put it in this way, the way that this article phrases it. The announcement comes ahead of Coors Field opening day on Friday and the partial reopening of the 16th Street Mall. Awesome. It also follows a high-profile stabbing spree earlier this year.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
that was interesting. Like,
So, I don't know, man. Have you ever seen a gondola in a city? Like, do we really want to be the first one? I mean, it could be so cool,
it could
but
be actually sweet, just because, and we did really put down the idea last time we talked about it, but since then, after seeing the map, it
yeah,
does look interesting.
yeah,
And these ski resorts are able to throw up a huge new gondola in one off season and open it
yeah.
up like Steamboat, for example, on a freaking mountain in an alpine environment and get it up and running for the next ski season. Like, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to hit one up real quick in the city, test it out.
I'm reading here there are no U.S. states currently have a gondola as a travel system, a widespread or primary travel system.
I mean,
Some places have micro transportation gondolas that connect from one small area to another, but it looks like there's no like major circuit that's connecting like major areas in a city.
Yeah.
the idea I love is the elevated idea. You got that in Vegas, you got that in like Brooklyn, where they like took like these, they create kind of pedestrian paths, and in sometimes they have like the escalator ramp kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can get on there and just cruise, and you're like above traffic. I
Yeah.
mean,
That's
that's
cool.
awesome. It's something about being trapped in a gondola. Like, what you get in there, what if you got a line behind you, you just paid $20 for the ticket, but when you get to the gondola, you pose to the scent, the fragrance that's emitting from the gondola. Like, were you going to wait for the next one? People are going to be upset.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
There's issues to address for sure. But
The weather also, like, would it be, if Denver gets really cold, would it be able to operate and function like throughout the winter? Would it be closed down? I wonder what that would look like.
How hot would it get in there?
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta have the window ones. They have ones that are air conditioned and heated at some ski resorts too.
Mm.
Yeah.
It would
Interesting.
employ a lot of people. You'd need operators at each station whenever it's running. Would they run it through the night or into the late night? It could be cool. If we were the Mythbusters, we'd label it as plausibly cool.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Last quick thing to hit on, just a hot take here. Colorado lawmakers seeks limits on cell phone use in the classroom. I don't think this is a place for laws. you know, like, how about we just like listen to the teachers and how they want to take it? Because some teachers are cool with it, some are not. But I think ultimately the jurisdiction falls on them.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I could see that. Yeah. I
For what
mean,
the laws would look like. Like,
Yeah, exactly. A
what?
law
Yeah, what does
to
that entail? Like, does the teacher get in trouble since these are kids, like for not enforcing this law? Like, they're not.
what does sentencing look like?
Yeah.
yeah, and sentiments are changing here. Like, I remember my elementary school math teacher telling me I'm never going to have a calculator in my pocket that can do complex math equations
Yeah,
all the time. But now I do. And now
100%.
kids have AI agents in their pockets that could answer pretty much any question. So like why if especially if a teacher's okay with it, why limit that? And for test taking and stuff, I get it. But like for normal class time and everything, like if the teacher is okay with a student using a cell phone, but the thing is too, they're not using it to learn. They're just like texting their friends and Snapchatting and doom scrolling or whatever. But it should
Yeah,
be up to the teacher, I think.
I
Mhm.
agree. Just too heavy-handed with laws. Plus, what can the teachers use their phone? Because they're not going to want you taking away their phone. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Are the police going to come in and slam a seventh grader on the desk and cuff them
Yeah,
for texting? Like, what's the point of
exactly.
making this a law?
We've been watching your Snapchat, Tom. It seems like you took a couple of snaps during Mrs. Johnson's social studies class.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't get that.
Nice. All right, we got about 5 to 10 minutes. Let's do a little quick wrap up with from Ramen Fest. Had
Yeah,
such a great time promoting the event, and really happy to say they're able to sell that out. Yeah, at least the early bird on Saturday, which Tom and I went to. Man, Tom, I'll let you describe it, but I had a great time.
yeah. I think we had an awesome time. Shout out to Lacey and the whole Drink Denver team. It's not easy to put these things together, but there was so much going on there. We went in the early session, the noon time session. Um, we fortunately were able to get that early access, which was super cool. But then even after the GA time, we didn't have any problems in terms of getting as much food as we wanted, as many drinks as we wanted. There was some negativity on our comments, but we didn't experience any of that. I think we had a perfect time. We got to taste some really, really good stuff. Um, I got to judge the best fusion ramen category, which was absolutely so much fun. We all had a good time kind of debating. Shout out to Sushi Kuro
Yeah,
This
winning
is the
my
best
vote.
one.
Yep, Sushi Kuro winning my vote for the best smoked pesto chicken tonkatsu.
What? That sounds insane. I've never heard of that.
It was fire. Like,
Wow.
this was by far the best fusion ramen. I think we were all in agreement on that. And then
yeah.
we
Pesto. That's
yeah,
I'm trying to imagine that flavor. I can't even like imagine the flavor combination
a
there.
pesto tonkatsu ramen broth with some fried chicken bites. It was absolutely fucking, and the crazy part was it was the first one that we ate too.
Yeah,
And
the first one we walked in,
we
and
walked
we went
in and
to.
we grabbed it and we were like, "Oh my god, is everything going to be like this? Like this is insane." But there were also a lot of really good ones too. There were ones that I wish I could have judged, but they were more on the traditional ramen path. I couldn't really place them for the fusion ramen category. But coming second place, we did City O City. They had a nice vegan ramen that they were pushing, and that was so much flavor for an all vegan recipe, and we were really
Yeah,
impressed by that. So we hit them with second, and then we had Peaks Lounge, Peaks Front Range Ramen, which this sounds like a really cool place that we want to check out on the 27th floor, I believe, of the Hyatt Regency. This was the one, Ryan, that had the bison
Buffalo.
bone.
Yeah,
I think bison, right? Bison
I
bone
think so.
broth. Um,
Yeah, and then it had like bison brisket in there
yeah,
too.
it had bison brisket, so that qualified as fusion for us because I mean, bison are only here in America, correct? Am Am I correct about
Absolutely.
that? So
Not a
That's right.
that's
typical
Fusion.
ramen. Yeah.
So shout out to them. We're definitely gonna check that out. And I cannot wait to go to Sushi Kuro and get a full bowl of smoked pesto chicken tonkatsu. I mean, that was sick.
That sounds. I need to try this. What was there any or how much could you really eat until like it was at the point where you're like, okay, like I'm pushing the limits here of what I can consume.
We got every one. We tried every single one.
Oh wow, okay. And
We
you,
hit them all. I was like, about 3/4 of the way through, I was like, ooh, I could see the end was in sight, so I was all right. But
Yeah, you had to start limiting. Like the crazy part was we had like such a good one for our first one, and I think we all couldn't even. We're all hungry and hyped up, and we all like ate the whole bowl. But then as it progresses, you're like, all right, I gotta cut back on noodles now. Like that's the first thing that you cut back on is the noodles. And then you're really just focused on, okay, let me try the ingredients, the broth here, the meats and stuff. And by the end you're like, I'm taking one bite of this and one sip of the broth to taste it. But
yeah, it was well run. Everyone had positive energy there. The vendors were great. There was definitely the vendors that knew how to deliver it hot. Those really stood out. Well, or to say that folks that were serving it cold because they had the timing off, it was hard to really give them a fair assessment because something about cold ramen's kind of gross.
yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
But that was cool. They also had infused sake, which was awesome. They had like a spicy pineapple sake. They had like a hibiscus, a lychee. It was
Wow.
great.
They had a Japanese car show going on, which was super cool. We went and checked that out on our way out, and they had some awesome cars there. Also, I put some cool ones on that TikTok. There's also a clip of the pesto ramen on TikTok as well.
Okay. I need to watch that again and check that out.
Yeah, maybe I can make another TikTok highlighting the fusion ramens that we enjoyed. And then also I have a list here that I put together, Ryan, of other fire ramens that were not in the fusion category that we really liked. One was the Pickets. So I don't have the exact recipe that they did, but this was one of it's a catering company. So we were super surprised to like this one that much, to be honest, because they don't even have a location. This is like someone that you would hire to cater an event, but they had a really, really good ramen. And then Jinya with their tonkatsu ramen was another one of our favorites. And then I think my top favorite for the fusion category, was the Kazoku tonkatsu ramen, which was what I think the last one that we tried. So the first and last ones are fire. Oh, and then we had a shout out to Mecca ramen. That one was fire too, but it was just all traditional, so we couldn't score it professionally.
The scoring was limited to the fusion, but the tasting was universal.
Tasted everything, yeah. And there was some other cool dishes going on too. Like not everyone's entering a ramen dish. They actually had a not ramen category. There was a cool like mac and cheese dish where they had some like traditional dry ramen noodles like dusted and over the mac and cheese. That was really good. Lots of like dumplings and also lots of cocktails to try left and right. So overall, solid experience. We're super excited for the next Drink Denver event to promote and get out there and give you guys another review. So awesome time.
Yeah. Great time. I think we were able to keep a good pace because we didn't have any alcohol until we were completely done with the ramen.
Yeah.
So we kept a clear head and then just had a couple of glasses of sake and called it a day.
Yeah.
So
we didn't overdo it, and it's nice to have that opportunity where we had enough time to do what we wanted. I think that anyone no matter what time they entered, had enough time to get as much ramen and drinks as they could have enjoyed. But yeah, overall solid event, cool artwork, cool things to do, and just good energy over there. So again, and congratulations to our winners as well. Some of them I think are going to be sending us some content that they put together. So shout out if you won some free ramen tickets, reach out to us with some your favorites and we'll share those as well.
Nice.
Awesome, guys. I am late, so we'll call that a wrap. Shout out to our listeners. Thanks so much. Definitely sign up for our newsletter, which is realgooddenver.com, and it's got all the links and connections to everything going on in Denver there. Realgooddenver.com. Thanks so much, guys.
Absolutely.
All right.